Welcome, learners. My name is Mr. Pochilola once again. I represent Black Slides Online Secondary School. I bring to you a mathematics paper 2 from NED once again. For us to revise the paper, let me urge you to watch the revisions video up to the end without skipping any questions, because each question has something for you to learn from. Welcome, learners. Invite your friends, wherever they are, to join us or recommend our video to them so that they can also learn something. Focus on the tips that I share with you on every question. Pay attention, because the tips shared can apply to any similar questions which you meet in your MSc examinations. We wish you all the best as you approach your exams in 3 days' time. At Black Slides, we have you at our heart. So I wish that you should do very well in this exam. Remember that here at Black Slides, we don't settle for anything less than a distinction. And we believe we just did that, helping you to do that. Welcome, learners. So without much ado, let's get down to the business of the day. Question number 1, without using a calculator, simplify 12 root 5 divided by 2 root 5 minus 4, leaving your answer with a rational denominator. Rational denominator is one that doesn't have a root symbol, this symbol here. Pay attention to marks. The number of marks indicates how many steps you need to lay out. So you set off the working by rationalizing the denominator. In the first place, take note that root 5 divided by 2 root 5 minus 4 is just the same as root 5 divided by 2 open brackets root 5 minus 2. So this is essentially the same. we've done here is to simply factorize the denominator. The 2 can go here and divide through by 2. So we can factorize 2, by the way. So if you push 2 out, you have this. The denominator is going to look like this, for which the 2 can divide into itself into 12. It can go 6 times. So the 2 into itself is 1. 2 into 12 is 6. So something to work with, a workable expression is going to be 6 root 5 divided by root 5 minus 2. So that's the expression we are going to work with to simplify this expression. So we have 6 root 5 divided by root 5 minus 2. Okay, so next we need to get rid of this root sign from the denominator. In order to do that, we multiply the numerator, which is 6 root 5, and the denominator, which is root 5 minus 2, by the conjugate of root 5 minus 2. So the conjugate of root 5 minus 2 is root 5 plus 2. Just change the sign there. Remembering that you should never cancel these two, because you end up multiplying by 1, and it will take you back to that expression. So expanding the top there, 6 root 5, remember that root 5 by root 5 is just 5. So root 5 multiplied by root 5 is just 5. The root symbol disappears. So 6 root 5 times root 5 plus 2 will give us 30. Take note. Take note. So root 5 is 5. 5 times 6 is this 30 here. 6 times 6 is 12. Sorry, 6 times 2 is 12. Root 5 times 2 is root 5. I want to take this again. Root 6 times root 5, root 6 root 5 times root 5 is 30. 6 root 5 times 2 is 12 root 5. That sounds better now. The denominator here, multiplying root 5 by root 5, is going to give us this, just raised to the power 2. Remember, this is what we call the difference of two squares. So root 5 is root 5 squared, and minus 2 times plus 2 is 2 squared. So subtract the 2, here give us this will give you 5. Root 5 squared is 5. Root 2 is 4. So 5 minus 4 is 1. So you end up having this, it's like you're dividing this expression by 1. So the result is going to be 30 plus 12 root 5. 4 marks are coming from these steps. Over here, we have carried out an operation that is worth 2 marks by introducing the, I think this step was not shown. What we've done here is not shown, so we can call this 1 mark, plus this one is another mark, that's 2. Then simplifying this will give us 3, and then the final answer is another mark, so we have 4 marks altogether. Welcome, learners. Question 1b. Simplify 3x cubed over 3x squared minus 6xy plus 4y cubed over 2y squared minus xy. 5 marks. There's quite a number of steps to do. Maybe first and foremost, if you look at the denominators closely, you see that we need to factorize this. We can factorize 3x squared minus 6xy. We can as well factorize 2y squared minus xy. So these denominators can be factorized. So the situation is going to look like this. Here 3x is common, so we can push it out. So we push out 3x, we shall have 3x open brackets x minus 2y close brackets. And take note that 3x can cancel, so 3x can go into 3x cubed. Factorizing this, you see y is common here and there. So if we push out y, let's say we push out y minus y. Minus y, it will leave in brackets minus 2y plus x. Take note, if you push this back, like multiply, expand again, this, it will give back 2y squared minus xy. This is called a change of sign. Take note. So minus y into 4y cubed will leave us with an expression such as this. This minus is going to come from the fact that we have divided a minus sign by a positive sign. It will give us a minus sign here. There's a positive sign over there. So by the end of the day, we have this expression consisting of the same denominator. So when you're subtracting or adding fractions that have the same denominator, the common denominator becomes that denominator. So in this case, the common denominator is going to be x minus 2y. And the numerators will simply subtract. So it will be x squared minus 4y squared over x minus 2y as the answer. Take note that the top number, the top expression can be factorized further. This is the difference of two squares. So we say this can be factorized as x, open brackets, open brackets, x minus 2y and another bracket like it, x minus 2y again. Divided by x minus 2y. So by the end of the day, the denominator is on here. We'll cancel one of these. So the result would be look like this. So this will cancel one of them, and the result is going to be x minus 2y. I mean x plus 2y. I think I need to correct this one here. This should be a positive sign. It's the difference of two squares. So one bracket is negative, the other one is positive. So in this case, x minus 2y will be divided by x minus 2y. It will leave us with x plus 2y. Take note that in the first place, we missed a positive sign there. Alright, so that's the case. So the first step, the first mark, this is 5 marks. That means 1 mark goes to change of sign. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 marks. Two similar cylinders A and B have heights of 4 centimeters and 6 centimeters respectively. If the volume of cylinder A is 50 cubic centimeters, find the volume of cylinder B. Alright, the word respectively is very important. It means that the 4 centimeters is the height of cylinder A, whilst the 6 centimeters height is for cylinder B. So we are given the volume of cylinder A for us to find the volume of cylinder B. If these two cylinders are similar, such that one is bigger than the other, it means that their volumes are directly proportional to height. So in this case, the volume of the cylinder depends on the height of its height. So the one that has smaller height, which is A, has a volume of 50 cubic centimeters. By how much is the volume of B bigger than A? By how much is the volume of B bigger or greater than the volume of A? That is what is called the scale factor. By how much should A be multiplied to give B? So we need to find the scale factor, the number by which A is multiplied to produce the volume of B. So in order to find such a scale factor, we shall simply take the ratio of their volumes and cube it. So the ratio of B to A is just 6 to 4. And then the multiplying factor, the factor with which A is multiplied to produce B, is going to be raised to the power 3. Take the ratio of the 2 and raise to the power 3. If we were talking about areas, it means we would raise this to the power 2. But volume, for volume, since volume is three-dimensional, we shall raise this to power 3. So taking the ratio of 6 to 4 will give us 4 into 6 is 1.5 raised to power 3. So this volume of B, cylinder B, is simply going to be the volume of A multiplied by this factor. This factor is called the multiplying factor. Multiplying factor. Scale factor. It is called scale factor, actually. So the scale factor is found by dividing the volume of the bigger cylinder by the volume of the small cylinder raised to the power 3. So the scale factor is going to be 1.5 cubed. So the volume is going to be the volume of A, which is 50, multiplied by 1.5 cubed. So the volume of B, therefore, is 168.75 cubic centimeters. Kindly check this against your calculator. Remember that calculators are allowed in this paper. Welcome, learners. Contact us in case you have questions regarding Black Slides Online Secondary School. Given that the universal set U, this is the universal set, of course, this one is a symbol for micro, but I'm sure the examiner decided to use this to mean universal set. So given that the universal set contains 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, up to 10, and also given that A represents numbers that are perfect squares, while B represents a set of numbers that are multiples of 3, and then C represents numbers that are prime numbers. So the question is, find the elements that are contained in the union of A, B, and C. All right. So find the elements which are not. This thing here is very, very important. This is called complement of a set. So we are asked to find the complement. Complement is like finding the elements which are not in this named set. So in this case, the named set is the union of A, B, and C. So once we find the union of A, B, and C, we are asked to find the elements which are in the universal set, but not in the union of A, B, and C. Welcome, learners. So first and foremost, we shall need to find the sets A, B, and C. So we are told that A is a set of perfect squares. Remember, perfect squares are simply numbers that you are obtained by raising some of these numbers to the power 2. Alright, so in this case, you shall have 1. But if you raise 1 to the power 2, you are going to get 1. Another one is a 4. 4 is obtained by raising a number 2 to power 2. It's like 4 is 2 to the power 2. Similarly, 9 is 3 to the power 2. So these are called squares. 1 is 1 squared. 4 is 2 squared, and 9 is 3 squared. So these are called perfect squares. And B, we are told B is multiples of 3. So multiples of 3 include 3, 6, and 9. 3 is 3 times 1. 6 is 3 times 2. 9 is 3 times 3. So these are called multiples. In other words, for you to check if they are multiples of 3, just try to divide each one of them. You are going to find a number that is without a remainder. Okay, so 3 can go into each one of them without leaving a remainder. That's testing if these numbers are truly multiples of 3. 3, 6, and 9. So there are only 3 numbers here. And the C is a set of numbers that are prime numbers. Set of prime numbers. Remember that prime numbers are numbers that do not have any other factors except themselves and the 1. So numbers such as 2, 3, 5, and 7 are prime. 2 is 2 times 1, 3 is 3 times 1, 5 is 5 times 1, 7 is 7 times 1. So a prime number is a number which does not have any other factor except the number itself and the 1. Welcome, learners. Then we go ahead to find this A union B union C. This refers to all these elements put together to make a set. So A union B union C is all these combined or put in the current brackets, which is the set. So if you compare this set and the universal set, the overall set, you find that there are some elements that are here, but not in the. There are some elements that are here in the universal set, but not in this union. So very quick one. Check just roughly find there's 1 here, there's 1 there, there's 2 there, there's 2 there, there's 3, there's 4, there's 5, there's 6, there's 7, there's 8. No, there's no 8 here. So the elements that are in this set but not in the universal set is going to be an 8, and the 10. That's the complement. So therefore the elements that are in this set but not in the elements that are in the universal set but not in this union are 8 and 10. So the answer is 8, 10. Welcome, learners. Number 3, figure 1 shows a triangle ABC such that AB is equal to x minus 3 centimeters and BC is equal to x plus 3 centimeters, while AC is 8 centimeters and angle BAC is 60 degrees. This must be 60 degrees. So find the value of x. For us to be able to find the value of x, we shall need to use a rule which is called the cosine rule. If we call this side A and this side B, this side here, C, we can write an expression relating to A, B, and C. Such an expression is called cosine rule. It simply says that the square of A is equal to the square of B plus the square of C, and then minus twice BC. And then multiply this by the cosine of angle A. So this rule is called the cosine rule. It's used for solving for triangles. So substituting, where A is x plus 3, while B is x minus 3, and C is 8. Excuse me. Substituting A is x plus 3, yes. B is 8, so you bring 8 there. And C is x minus 3. So it's remembering to square where there is need to square. And then substitute accordingly. So angle A is 60. So the state of things will look like this. We just mentioned that A is x plus 3 squared, B is 8, and C is x minus 3 squared minus 2 times h, which is B, times x minus 3, which is C, and then cos of 60. So all now you're going to do is simplify this accordingly and bring the unknown terms to one side of the equation. So expanding, removing brackets, the left hand side will give us x squared plus 6x plus 9. That's expanding that. Expanding this bit here and multiplying through by what we are told, we're given, we should be able to find the rest of the expression. So you see here x squared is appearing both sides. That means it can smartly disappear. So simplifying this accordingly to give us 20x is equal to 8, and then solve for x. Solving for x will give us 4.4. Kindly go through this a number of times until you are able to do it by yourself. Welcome, learners. My name is Mr. Pochilola once again. Figure 2 shows a rectangular based pyramid PQRST with a vertex T vertically above the midpoint M. Of the side PQ. RS is 24 centimeters. RS is 24 centimeters. And QR is 5 centimeters. While TQ is 20 centimeters. This one. The question is calculate the angle between RTS, TS, this face here. And PQRS to the nearest degree, PQRS to the nearest degree. All right, we need to have some details from here. We are told that M is above the midpoint. M is above the midpoint. Sorry, M with vertex T. Vertex T is above the midpoint of PQ. All right. With the given information, we shall need this part here. We shall also need this part up to here. So the angle that is needed is this angle. That's the angle between RTS and the PQRS. So it's this angle here. You have to be careful. So for us to find that angle, we also need information, some information. We shall need this height. We shall need this height, and we shall need this side here. Of course, we may not have to worry about this. Call this point X. Let's call this point X. All right, so the angle that we need is this one here. I assume that these lines are stretched. All right. So the job at hand is for us to find TM, this one. If you look at triangle TMQ, where this angle is 90 degrees, we can find TM by using Pythagoras theorem. We also need XM or MX, this side, which according to the diagram is equal to this side here, because these sides are parallel, they are parallel and equal. So XM is 5. Once we know TM and XM, we can use tangent of this angle to find the angle. So tan, remember, is opposite. So this side here, TM, is opposite this angle which is needed, and the XM is adjacent to it. So tangent is opposite over adjacent. Then we take the inverse of the tangent to find the angle. That's what is going to happen. Welcome, learners. So, using Pythagoras, Tm squared is equal to this side, which is 20 centimeters, minus this side, which is half of 24. How do we know it's half? This is the midpoint of PQ. We are told here. So 12 squared. Subtract and take square root. We shall find Tm as 16. So now we know Tm is this one, and we also know Xm. If we take triangle TMX, you'll have something like this here, TMX, for which Tm is 16 and the Xm is this one here. We just found it to be 16. So in other words, the Tm is opposite this angle and the Xm is adjacent. So tangent, remember, tangent is opposite of adjacent. So it will be 16 over 5. When you divide 16 by 5, you get 3.2. Take tangent, the inverse of tangent of this value, and your calculator just punch second function or shift 16 over 5. It will give you 73 degrees. So this angle here must be 73 degrees. Welcome, learners. Consider subscribing to the channel so that you don't miss our video lessons. Question number 4. Figure 3 shows the speed time graph of a moving object, given that the rate at which the object decelerates after t equals to 15, this part here, is equal to half the rate at which it accelerates during the first 6 seconds. Remember that acceleration or deceleration is just the gradient of the line. And also take note, just to simplify things, between the times 6 and 15, there's no acceleration or deceleration. This is uniform speed. So acceleration is happening here between 0 and 6 seconds, and deceleration is happening here between the times 15 and a certain time t. So given that the rate at which the object decelerates after 15 seconds here is equal to half the rate at which it accelerates after 6 seconds, or during the first 6 seconds. So we need to find the expression for the deceleration. Let's call this time t. Let's call that time t. All right. Remember, deceleration is rate of change of speed, or the change in speed divided by the change in time. So the change in speed here is 40. This is 40. How we are getting 40? We are taking the speed at this point, which is 0. It corresponds to 0. And the speed over there corresponds to 40. So 40 minus 0 is 40. Similarly, the change in time here, the change in time is just the time there minus 15. The time here minus 15 will give us the change in time. The speed here, which is 40, minus 0 will give us the change in speed. So dividing the change in speed, which is 40, by the change in time will give us deceleration here, this part. Similarly here, for us to determine acceleration is the rate of change of speed with time. So we need to find the acceleration here. We shall take the speed here, a gradient, just taking gradient. Yeah. So we need to find the gradient of this line. So we need to get change in time over here and the change in speed. So this change in speed here is going to be 40 minus 16. You take the speed that corresponds to that point minus the speed that corresponds to this point, which is 16. So subtract to give you this part. To find time, you simply take the difference between these two. 6 minus 0 to give you the change in time. So once again, given that the rate at which the object decelerates, that's 40 divided by t minus 15, is equal to half of 40 minus 16 divided by 6. Yeah. So this part here represents deceleration, whereas this part here represents half of acceleration in the first 6 seconds. This part here represents the deceleration in the time t, from 15 seconds to the time t. So what we are doing now is to calculate the time at which it stops. So t here, we need to solve this equation for t. So solving for t means we simplify both sides accordingly. 40 subtract 16, that's 24, over 6 times 2, that's 12. So this side will give us 2. Multiplying both sides by 2, or cross multiplying, will give us 2t minus 15, which is equal to 40. This 2 here is 24 divided by 12. Then cross multiply. There's a 2 over 1, so 1 times 40 is 40, and then 2 times this is 2 open brackets t minus 15 close brackets. So solve for t, expand more brackets, then we shall have, may not wish have to expand, just divide both sides by 2. So divide here by 2, it will be t minus 15. Divide by 40 by 2, you get 20. So solving for t shall give us t equals to 20 plus 15, which in this case is 5. So the time at which it stops is t, which is 35 seconds. Welcome learners, my name is Mr. Bojilola once again. In case you have questions, don't hesitate to leave us with a comment. Drop a comment in the comment section below, or better still, just send us a message to the numbers shared here. Table 1 shows class intervals of scores and their frequencies. These are scores, marks in class. Alright, so 12 people or 12 students get marks between 1 and 20, and 28 of them get marks from 21 to 40, and 20 of them get marks from 41 to 60, and then 60, last group, get marks between 61 and 80 marks. Using a scale of 2 centimeters to represent 5 units in both axes, draw a histogram to represent this information. So first of all, you need to calculate what are called class boundaries. You need to calculate class boundaries. Alright. So in order to calculate class boundaries, all you have to do is find the average of the upper and lower boundaries, or of upper and lower intervals, whatever you call them. Find the boundaries, find the average of the upper and lower boundaries of the adjacent class intervals. So usually marks start from 0, but this particular group got 12. So from 0 to the next value, find the lower boundary, for the group that got 12. Simply take 0 plus 1 divided by 2. So 0 plus 1 divided by 2. That's where the marks will start from, the boundary. And then it like that. Then you take 20. The upper value score is 20 for this group that got to 1 to 20. And then the lower value, the lower score is 21. Here, divide again by 2. You continue like that. And over here you take 40. Add 41. Divide by 2. You're just taking averages of the upper and lower boundaries. Divide by 2. Like that. So you have 60. Add 61. Divide by 2. And then the last one will simply be 80. 80 plus whatever we got here. Whatever we got here, just add to 80 to have the last value. So this is going to give you 0.5, this is 20.5, this is 40.5, this is 60.5. Then you have 8.5. So you plot these values, you plot the frequencies against these values. Alright, so we are told to take 2 centimeters to represent 5 units in both axes to draw the histogram. So if this is done properly, our histogram is going to look like this. Yeah, so the marks are ordered for calculating the class boundaries. This is 0.5, so we're starting not from 0 but 0.5, that's the starting point. And then the next one for this class interval, we shall have 20.5, that's 21, 20 plus 21 divided by 2. These are found by simply taking the average of the lower and the upper and lower scores divided by 2, just like that. This is going to be 40.5 and so on, and so the last one will be 80.5, which is what I mentioned earlier on. So the 5 marks include the choice of scale, correct scale, labeling of the axis correctly, and also the calculation of the boundaries, the class boundaries, which are these ones here. Solve the equation 8 times 2 to the power 2y equals to 2 to the power 5y plus 1 over 4 to the power minus y. Right. So this makes use of what is called the laws of indices, and we need to apply them here. So to start with, take note that 8 is the same as 2 to the power 3. Okay, the goal here is to write everything to the same base and then equate the powers. So 8 is just the same as 2 to the 3. And then we just bring this one down here. Take note that 2y means 4 to the power yeah, so 8 is 2 to the 3 multiplied by 2 to the 2y. This one I just brought it down here. And this is numerically the same as if we multiply both sides of the equation by 4 to the power minus y. Then we have this one here. And this one down there is going to disappear. So multiply both sides by 4 to the power minus y. We'll get this expression. Just brought this down. So we have 2 to the 3, 2 to the 2y, that's this one here. But we multiplied both sides by 4 to the minus y. So we have this one, this expression. So our job now is to write everything to the same base. So h is the same as 2 to the 4 to the 3. Then we bring this one down here, 2 to the 2y. Then we bring this one down, 2 to the minus 2y. This is equal to 2 to the 5y plus 1. So we have 2's throughout. Remember that one of the rules of indices says that when you multiply numbers that are at the same base, you simply add their powers. So here we shall add 3 to 2y to minus 2y. So adding 2y to minus 2y gives us 0. And remember, n number to the power 0 is equal to 1. So the whole of this side will give us 80 remaining. Okay, so minus 2y minus 2y, 2y minus 2y is basically 0. So we have 8 only this side to the power 3. So equating 3 to 2 to 5y plus 1, equating these 2 and solve for y shall give us this. So 5y plus 1 is equal to 3. We are saying this because then the bases are the same. So solving for y shall give us 5y equals to 3 minus 2, 3 minus 1, which is 2. Then divide through by 5. Y is going to be equal to 2 over 5. 6 marks. The 6 marks are coming from the steps that you have laid out. Make sure that you pay attention to the number of marks all the time, because they give you a clue as to how many steps you need to write down. Welcome, learners. Using a ruler and a pair of compasses, when constructing the same diagram, a circle center of radius 3 centimeters, a point R outside the circle such that OR is 10 centimeters, the tangent TR to the circle at R, measure and state the length of TR. So this you are doing, you're using instruments. Alright. So this circle is the diagram is going to look like this. Since I don't have instruments here and I don't have the means to show you, convince yourself that you can draw this, but first thing first, you draw the circle. If this is the center, so open the arms of your compass so that the radius is 3. So measure this, draw the circle like that. Alright, so you place your pair of compasses here and open it, cut there and also cut here. And there too, open there, open, draw a line, draw a certain point, R. Of course, this needs to be measured since it's stated there as 10 centimeters. Upon completing it, measure this length, which is okay. Since I don't have the means to show you now using my instruments, but convince yourself that you can draw something that looks like this. Welcome, learners. Number 6. Prove the theory which states that opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral supplementary. You need to understand the terms used. Supplementary here means they add up to 180 degrees. So we have to prove that angles that are opposite in a cyclic quadrilateral. A cyclic quadrilateral is one which is bounded by a circle. And so the opposite angles in such a quadrilateral add up to 180 degrees. 5 marks. So you start by sketching the diagram. So this, don't try, don't worry about drawing it to scale or trying to be systematic. Just sketch it, the diagram. So this is a circle inside of which there is a quadrilateral. Remember, quadrilateral has 4 sides. So we need to prove that angle A plus angle C is equal to 180 degrees. That's the meaning of supplementary. So whatever we say now, we are going to be referring to this diagram. Get 5 marks. So let the angle D, angle DAB, this angle here, BY. No problem, we can put Y there. So let's call this Y. And the angle DCB, this one here, call it X. So we've labeled angle DAB, Y, and the DCB, X. These are the angles that we are going to be referring to. Welcome, learners. So we need to prove that Y added to X is 180. That's the meaning of supplementary. So referring to the diagram again, the reflex angle, this must be reflex, not reflexed. Reflex without it here at the end. The reflex angle DOB, this is O, the center O, is equal to Y. So this angle here is 2Y, is twice this angle. We are using another theorem that says that an angle at the center of a circle is twice the angle at circumference. So this angle is 2Y, which is this angle multiplied by 2. Also, angle DOB, this is this angle here, this angle here. Now we are referring to this obtuse angle is 60. Is 2x. So this angle is 2x. The same reason, angle center twice angle circumference. So upon adding the two angles, add this angle here, the reflex angle here, and the one inside, the result is 360 degrees. These are angles at a point. So we know that DOB is 2y, and the DOB is 2x. This angle is 2y, this angle is 2x, added together. It's going to give us 360. So 2 is common. We can factorize this. Factorize the 2. Factorize the 2 and divide both sides by 2. Give us x plus y equals to 180 degrees, which is what the question asked us to show, to prove. Welcome, learners. So therefore, angle DCB and DAB, these angles are opposite. Therefore, they are supplementary, meaning they add up to 180 degrees. So marks will be allocated based on these steps. So we have 1 mark for saying this, another mark that's 2, then 3, 4, then 5, the conclusion. Welcome learners, my name is Mr. Pochilora, your teacher. Figure 4 shows a trapezium ABCD where AD, this one, is parallel to BC, this one. And we are told that BD is 5A plus B, while DC is A minus 10B, and AD is 4A plus KB. Using this, calculate or find the value of K. So for us to find the value of K, first of all, we must know what BC is. Remember that parallel vectors have the same gradient. Or if one vector is multiple of the other, it means that those two vectors are parallel. So the fact that AD is parallel to BC means that these two vectors have the same gradient. Or one vector is a multiple of the other. So given, in the event that we are given vector BD and BC, we can find BD and the DC given, we can find BC using the triangle rule of vector addition. The triangle rule of vector addition says that if two sides of a triangle are each represent in magnitude and direction represent vectors, two vectors, then the third side represents the resultant. So in this case, BC is the resultant of BD plus DC. So adding these two will give us BC. So vector BC is going to be equal to BD, which is 5A plus B, plus DC, which is A minus 10B. We have used a rule which is commonly known as triangle rule of vector addition. So once we find BC, it means we can now find the K by relations. Alright, so in this case, simplifying this, that's 5A add A is 6, and B plus minus 10B is minus 10B, minus 9B, sorry. So this is BC. Take note also that 3 is common here. You can push it out. So you can push out 3. It will give us 3, open brackets, 2, A minus 3B, close brackets. So take note, I want you to pay attention to this. If you look at vector AD can be written in the same form as BC, but in terms of K. if you factor out 2 from this vector, you have this actually. If you multiply this back, 2 times 2a is going to give you 4a again. 2 multiplied by k over 2b is going to give you back kb. So basically, AD is the same as this expression. So what we are going to do is now, despite having different scalars, as they are called sometimes, in numbers, these vectors have something interesting common between the two. We have a 2a here, 2a there. That means this part is also the same as this part. So you equate k over 2b, 2 minus 3b. Without doing that, just take k over 2 equated to minus 3. Because there's a b here, there's a b here. That means the coefficients or the constants by which b are multiplied are the same. So we equate minus 3 to k over 2. So equating the 2 will give us k over 2 equals to minus 3. I've just taken this, equate to minus 3 there. Then multiplying both sides by 2 give us k equals to 6, minus 6. So the marks are coming from the steps. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 marks. In case you are not sure, don't forget to leave a comment to which we are going to respond quickly. Welcome, learners. Welcome to section B. You're supposed to answer any 4 questions from this section in the spaces provided. So here you don't answer all the questions, just 4 of them. We're going to go through all of them though. So solve the equation, the following equation simultaneously. So this is simultaneous equations, 10 marks. Higher marks are found in section B. Just by answering 4 questions, already you have 4 marks. I mean 40 marks. You have 40 marks. Answer any 4 questions. Alright, so solving these 2 equations simultaneously. So we can use substitution method. Using equation number 1, the first equation here, we are told y is equal to x plus 3. So where there is y here, just put 2x plus 3. We shall have this. So we have x multiplied by y, where y is this thing. Then plus 20 is equal to 5y. Put 2x plus 3 where there is y. Substitute 2x plus 3 for y in 2. So what we've done is not magical. We have just substituted 2x plus 3 for y in this equation, because the first equation is already in its simplest form. So just take 2x plus 3, bring it where there is y here. And then the job we have is to simplify, to expand, and bring terms together, and then find x. So multiplying through will give us x to x squared. X times 2x is 2x squared. X plus 3x is 3x plus 20. This side, 5 multiplied by 2x is 10x. 5 multiplied by 3 is 15. Simplifying through will give us a quadratic equation, very beautiful one, such as this, which we can factorize and solve for x. So factorizing this will give us, this is a grouping method. Take 2 times 5, that's 10. The factors of 10, which when you add, will give us minus 7x, minus 2x, and minus 5x. So we have these two, this expression to factorize. So in this case, the factors will be 2x, x minus 1, and then 5x minus 1. So push 5 minus x minus 1 will give us x minus 1 and 2x minus 5. So equating each one of them to 0. And so for x, the first bracket will give us x equals to 2.5, and the second one will give us x equals to 1. Simultaneous equations. So if you add all these steps together, you must get 10 marks. Yeah, perhaps maybe we need to give 2 marks to the first 2 steps, each one of them. And that's what we've done here. It deserves more marks, but it will be up to the discretion of the examiners to award marks. How many marks for each step? Welcome, learners. My name is Mr. Pochilola, your teacher. Oh, sorry, we skipped this bit. We are supposed to find for each value of x, we need to find the corresponding value of y. So put 2.5 here, that will be 5 plus 3, that's 8. Put 1 here, that will be 3 plus 3, that will be 5. Welcome, learners. Solve the equation x cubed minus 3x squared minus 4x plus 12 equals to 0. 10 marks again. This is where there is celebration. If you solve 4 questions, you already have passed. You have 40 marks already. So we are asked to solve this equation. So first and foremost, we need to find one of the factors that can go into this without a remainder. So one of the factors is x plus 2. So divide this whole expression by x plus 2. It will go x squared minus 5x plus 6. I'm sure you know this, how it is done. Just to guide you, use the remainder theorem. And then find these factors. Once you find that expression there, you factorize it, and then you have 2 brackets plus this one which we started with. You solve for x, you get x equals to minus 2 or 3 or 2. Welcome, learners. Question number 9. The cost of plating articles of a given shape is the sum of 2 parts. One is fixed and the other part varies as the square of the height of the article. It costs 370,000 to plate 10 centimeters high article and 1,120,000 kwacha to plate 20 centimeters high article. How high will the article be if it costs 480,000? This is partial variation problem. Partial variation. So first of all, you must come up with the equation, a relevant equation. We have cost. Cost is equal to a constant which is fixed. Fixed means not changing. We can call it A. And then the other one depends on height of the article. So multiply this by another constant B. So this is our equation. Alright, so anyway, without further ado, let's use the values that we are given. Okay, the initial values basically allow us to find A and B. So it costs 370,000 to plate 10 centimeters high article, and 1,120,000 to plate a 20 centimeters high article. How high will the article be if it costs this much? So first of all, we need to find A and B. So just substitute the cost, then we have the variables A and B in the equation. We call this equation A, rather equation number 1. You also use the other amount to find equation number 2. And then solve these two equations simultaneously by just subtracting. If you subtract both sides, both sides, A is going to disappear. So once it disappears, then you have something like this B. 100B minus 400B is going to be minus 300B. 370,000 minus 1,120,000 will give us 750,000. So subtract or divide through by 300 minus 300 will give us B equals to 2,500, which you have to substitute into one of the equations to find A. So solving for A will give us A equals to 120,000. So you take these two values, put them into the equation there. Where there's A, you put 120,000. Where there's B, you put 2,500. So you have the equation which you need. So we are asked to find the height when the cost is 480,000. So put for the cost here, put 480,000. And then substitute the other given values. Then solve for H. So the value of H therefore is going to be equal to 12 centimeters. So I will leave you now for you to complete the rest of the questions. 10, 11, and 12. That's for you to practice. Ask me if you don't have this past paper, ask